Do you ever feel helpless because your mental strength just doesn't show up when you need it? Like your brain is fuzzy and you just want to pull the covers over your head and leave life's challenges for another day? If so, you're not alone. In fact, my mind used to be pathetic and weak. I endured so much suffering with a mind that had no power, no individualism, and no ability to rise up to life's challenges. I constantly sought others to pick me up and guide me along. During this time period, I was in deep and profoundly painful learned helplessness. I had no mental strength because I had no mental strength strategies. But there's a happy ending to this story. With hard work and determination, I pulled myself out of this helpless state. I created strategies that worked for me. And in this video, I'm sharing everything I learned so you can do the same. Hi there, this is Anthony Metivier from magneticmemorymethod.com, where we normally share everything you need to know to learn and remember anything you want so that you remember it forever. But what if you don't feel strong and resilient enough to even start a free memory course? Well, before you can build mental strength so that nothing stands in your way, you have to understand what it is. That's important because mental strength can be defined as a state of uninterrupted focus on a single topic. After all, how can you expect to get the best quality from the effort that you put into a task if you aren't consistently focused? Knowing how to build mental toughness begins with having a strategy in place. And one of the best strategies I know is having one teacher at a time. It means having a plan for when things don't go the way you expected and the resilience to bounce back in the face of challenges. And because you focus on one teacher at a time, you really get to know what they've done and how they did it, so you can model something coherent, not a mishmash of ideas that are only partly coherent because you're constantly bopping around inside the internet pinball machine. So hit that thumbs up, and if you're new here, get subscribed and enable notifications so you don't miss a thing. And let's look now at a few other ways you might have heard the term. Resilience. If you look into psychology studies, you'll find this term resilience comes from engineering. It means the ability to spring back into shape. If you have a baseline level of performance and your focus gets interrupted, how quickly can you spring back into focus? Well, these interruptions can be of several different types. Food interruption. You're hungry and wandering into the kitchen looking for a snack. Noise interruption. The phone rings or the neighbors are playing loud music again. Shiny object interruption, something new and much more fun grabs your attention. Well, I use the acronym USSR to assess my focus. In this case, resilience means being able to get interrupted and spring back into the shape of, for example, uninterrupted, silent, sustained reading. Then we have mental stamina. Stamina is both a duration and a qualitative notion. It's not just that your focus lasts for a certain amount of time, but also maintains a certain shape and level. It's essentially grit, a kind of toughness, and sticking with something over time and with a certain maintenance of a level. You might need to start with shorter periods of time, for example, focusing for 15 minutes instead of an hour, and then extend the time frame as you get more comfortable. Then there's discernment and decisiveness. How easy is it for you to make decisions? I use the acronym RAP from Decisive by Dan and Chip Heath as a tool to make my decisions. And it stands for widen your options, reality test, attain distance, prepare to fail. So now that you know what mental strength is, how do you get it? Now you may wonder, can mental toughness be taught? Well, the answer is, of course, yes, but also no. In the end, it's up to you to teach yourself how to be mentally tough. So let's talk about the Feynman technique. A method that allows you to learn complex concepts easily by explaining them in simple language. It can be used to develop self-resilience as well as how to study more effectively. Mental fortitude can be learned by learning how to teach yourself. Seek teachers who teach by abandonment. They will have either limited availability or the skill of asking you questions that cause self-reflection and self-analysis. These teachers will help you fly on your own and rely on yourself. For example, I always like James Schwartz, who talks about how he approaches enabling students like this. Let's get you in the door and back out again as soon as possible because you've got it, you learned it. you're ready to go. That's the best possible kind of teaching. Next, you will develop a testing mentality and be a scientist in the laboratory of life. You gather evidence that confirms or denies your hypotheses or propositions, and then you'll test them through your own personal experience, and you'll validate or invalidate them. The more actively engaged you are as a scientist, and the more you get feedback from what some call your inner wise advocate, the more progress you can make toward building your mental resilience. Now you know that mental strength can be taught, but what does mental toughness have to do with memorization? As well as mental toughness being taught, it can also be caught. You'll memorize relevant information for extended reflection. It's not so much about teaching or being taught, it's about you then reflecting on what you've been taught. And a major strategy for how to build mental toughness is to set aside time to reflect, to journal, mind map, take notes, and sit with the information you've memorized. This allows you to take the journey from internal in your head to external into the world for reflection. You can reflect until you're blue in the face, but that's no way to succeed. You have to dive right in. Even if you're scared or worried, you have to let go of the outcome and take action. But you can't take action if you don't have a plan. So now you'll take the results of your extended reflection, that journaling and mind mapping, to create an action plan. However you arrive at creating one, follow your plan. Take the steps, test out your hypotheses, and see what works. As you're taking your scientific approach to building your mind muscles, you might be thinking, is there a way to test your mental toughness? Are you ready to unlock your best mental energy? This is a very powerful mental strength test that will help you analyze yourself using a series of questions. Get out a piece of paper or a text document and answer the following 8 questions I've compiled for you at magneticmarymethod.com/mental-strength. I also have the link for you in the description. This kind of exercise doesn't work so well on video, so please get that page open and complete the test. Post your results if you care to share and get some feedback too. I read every post and will answer you personally ASAP. Once done, you'll be able to score your answers and see. Wherever you land on the scale of mental strength mastery, let's look now at how to build mental toughness to get you set up with strategies and a path forward. One of the biggest keys to mental stamina is to take action. The good news is you're already on the right track. By taking the mental strength test, you took a micro step. That tiny action is important because most people make big plans for change and their first step is so monumental, they never get started. The micro step you just took is the first of many. The first step leads to the second, and the more steps you take, the more you begin to transform and change the neurochemicals in your brain. This leads to more action, and those small incremental changes lead to massive change in the long run. And as part of your mental toughness training here today, you need to know your values and create a vision for success. So let's get started. Part of vision requires strategies for being smarter, which means serious, mature, and ready to embrace reality. To get smarter, you need a vision and a guiding star. You need to have some practical idea of how you'll get where you want to go. Now, there are 16 ways to cultivate mental resilience on the blog, but for the purposes of this video, let's go over just 3. First, know and evaluate your values. Beyond just knowing your values, it's important to evaluate and test them. You also need to test that you actually want to get to that place, because many people create destinations and destinies they realize they don't really want once they get there. Maybe their parents or spouses or even an earlier version of themselves want it. And because of primacy effect in the mind or in their memories, they end up caught in a prison of previous desires that are no longer true. But how do you create a vision statement to get where you actually want to go? Your vision statement can be as simple as saying, in the next X number of years, whether it's 2 or 3 or 10, my vision is to accomplish Y. 2, seek greatness. As you evaluate your values, create your definitions of greatness in a way that's possible for you to achieve them. When we think about greatness, it's often tempting to exaggerate and create a vision that's outside our reach because we think it has to be epic. Instead, true greatness is achieving something because you set a goal based on your existing competence. For example, what things have you achieved already, and how can you build on an existing strength? And then, how can you set the path for another level that's possible for you to attain because you've based it on your existing strengths? On the other hand, if you don't currently have the competence necessary to achieve your goal, crystal and fluid intelligence, greatness would be achieving the competence that moves you toward that larger goal, and do it based on your values. In this case, my value is actual accomplishment, not deluding oneself that activity is somehow accomplishment, but actual accomplishment. And that's much greater than constantly taking action that leads nowhere. 3. Water, weed, repeat. When you think about your strategies, remember the body and mind work in cycles. For whatever reason, the mind gets tired and the weeds grow back. It's a cycle. You water your mental garden, pull out the weeds as they grow, and then do it all over again. Some of the weeds might be negative thinking or black and white thinking. I find that no matter how much I practice, sometimes I still get negative thoughts. So you practice weeding them out, and while you're weeding, water the really good thoughts and repeat, repeat, and repeat. Another type of weed might be draining thoughts. What thoughts do you have that drain you of energy? It's important to have tools and strategies to get rid of them as they show up, or at least be able to chip away at them until they disappear. One self-inquiry tool you can use to help your thought weeding is to ask, how are these thoughts behaving? This might be out of scarcity, out of irrational fear, or out of tiredness or hunger. In fact, you're actually stronger than you think. It's just that so many of your memory and mind muscles are being burned out by faulty application of your strength. So if you can get rid of that, you'll be much better off. Finally, you want to identify and weed out comfort zone thinking. A lot of people stay in their comfort zones and have a whole bunch of strategies for staying there. But if you can step out of your comfort zone, even in small ways or a little at a time, you'll have much more energy and focus for moving toward achieving your vision and goals. Now, along with investing in online courses, you can also pick up a number of great books about how to build mental toughness. Here are some of my favorites. I really love Decisive by Dan and Chip Heath. A lot of what I've learned about mental strength has come from this book. I highly recommend it because it gives you tools for mental resilience by giving you a simple formula for making better decisions. I've gotten quite a bit of benefit from using the RAP technique, which we already talked about in this video. You Are Not So Smart by David McRaney. Out of this entire list, this is one of my favorites. It's all about escaping self-delusion and developing mental tools that free you from it. This book gives you a lot of cognitive biases and helps you think through why we come to the false conclusions we do and why our brain forces us to. Humans often waste energy because we think in particular ways that simply do not reflect the way reality is. For example, if you often think people are judging you or monitoring you, the reality is that most people have forgotten what you did within moments. So instead of worrying about what other people think, you're free to move on with your life. You Are Not So Smart is full of strategies and tips to help you overcome this thinking. Happiness Beyond Thought and Evolving Beyond Thought by Gary Weber. Gary Weber wrote 2 books I would recommend for building mental strength. Happiness Beyond Thought will teach you self-inquiry as well as tools to help you separate your monkey mind from your physical body and showing you where in space your mind actually takes place. I made it my project to memorize everything Gary says to memorize in the book, and it truly did lead to a place of having no thoughts, which is exquisite. I never thought it was possible, but I made it happen. And the follow-up book is Evolving Beyond Thought. This book is also very powerful, and I recommend his YouTube channel as well as a supplement to the 2 books. Then there's The Victorious Mind by myself, Anthony Metivier. I'm throwing this one in here because I wrote it after applying Gary Weber's work for a few years. You'll find it helps you combine memory and meditation training for maximum results, and very quickly in combination with the training tips in this video. You can get it from the Amazon store in your country by visiting magneticmarionmethod.com/VM. I have several more key book recommendations for you included with the full article that goes with this video. Please consider ordering and reading each and every one that appeals to you. And please don't delay. The speed of implementation principle says that every second you don't take action on a recommendation, the likelihood that you ever will goes down exponentially. And that's one of the reasons why so many people remain stuck throughout their lives. Using the speed of implementation principle to take immediate action is just one of many mental toughness workouts. Ultimately, what you need to do throughout life is perform what I think of as mental toughness workouts. The first workout I would recommend is to develop vision statements for control over your life purpose and to grow your self-esteem. What could grow your self-esteem more than being a person who has a vision for your life that you regularly revisit? It's an instant self-esteem booster to have a vision and to be able to share your vision with others. You might even help other people to develop their own life visions. Then your self-esteem grows again because you shared the importance of having a vision and you shared your vision and the things you're doing around it. And then you grow others as you grow yourself. If you need help, there's a full video training I've created for free that will help you create a vision statement for your life that works. Meditation and cold showers are great mental workouts to help you commit to crushing simple daily goals. Both cold showers and meditation are micro actions that help keep your mental muscles strong. Cold showers in particular help show you how your mind can stop you from doing a very simple thing that's non-threatening in every way, yet feels super threatening. The more you dive into the practice, you find that your mind is your worst enemy and it's an obstacle you can develop resilient tools to help you push through. And having a daily meditation practice is a workout in much the same way, showing up every day, whether or not your brain wants to sit and be quiet and focused. And finally, the ultimate memory toughness workout is memory training. Train for challenge, and that will help make you more driven. It will help make you more adaptable when you can remember things in real time, and it'll help make you more capable of remembering your commitment. You build your mental strength over time when you show up consistently, and by maintaining this consistent practice, you're able to maintain that mental strength. Everything in the brain is like a garden. The more you water it, the more robust it is. But you have to remember to water it regularly. Memory can be hard work, or it can be simple. By using the tools and techniques in this video, you can get to the point where your memory work happens on autopilot. So are you ready to take your mental toughness training to the next level? Remember that weak, untrained brain at the beginning of this video, the one that just wanted to pull the covers up and ignore life, the one that just wanted someone else to make all the decisions? Well, it's time to kick that brain to the curb and build your mental muscles. Take the mental strength test. Pick one of the strategies in this video and get started. Remember, nothing good happens without action. Then, once you've mastered that single strategy, come back and pick a new one. Rinse and repeat. Thanks as always for the view. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already, and get subscribed with those notifications kicking loud and clear. And if you want to start your mental strength training with memory training, you can pick up my free memory improvement kit. Being able to focus on and memorize any information on the fly is the true mark of mental toughness. Frankly, I'd be dead in the water without it, and I thank you for being part of how I'm helping others escape the mental misery I've been through. Your help is much appreciated, and until we speak again, keep being awesome and keep yourself magnetic.